Hi, Sequel Michael Perella from Master Perella's Kung Fu Center is here with one of my favorite classmates, Chris Urok. We're going to talk about one of the core techniques of the Lama style. There's really two of them that I would think always associate with style. One is Kuk Choi, which we already recognize how many styles have incorporated, and two is Chun Choi, which is something that you really don't see in other styles. So I want to make a couple variations. We'll talk about how the technique is done. But one thing that we do in this style, and I notice the Hot God people or the White Crane people don't do it, is we have a variation on the fist. So all Tibetan styles always use the thumb on top. One of the main reasons being is because there's so many surface areas that we hit with. If our hand was here, we would damage it during Kuk Choi, and we don't have the same impact that Gawk would be, like our hook punches, using these two knuckles and these points here. So we use the dragon head, the lung tao, is the middle knuckle extended. And we're not breaking boards or trying to do damage to really hard areas with this, so it doesn't really have to be that strong. It's more than strong enough for what we want to use it for. Now, Chun is to penetrate, and I guess when we use Chun Choi, there are four main principles that we have in Lama style. The concept of Jeet intercepting, Seam to evade, all right, Chun to penetrate, and Chan, which we talk about as ruthlessness. So at least two of them usually embody within every technique, although I think Chun is pretty ruthless, which is Seam to evade and Chun to penetrate. So the way we see it, the way it was always taught to us, although we always kind of work the technique at a target area towards the body, it can just as easily be used at the head, the face, the neck, anywhere else like that. But again, you're using this penetrating knuckle area, so I don't really want to punch you in the forehead, right? Punch someone to the throat is cool. Well, not really cool, but enough of that. Right. Punch them to the armpit and into the body and the ribs is really the main targets for it. So the idea of this is, actually we want to use Jeet, we want to use intercept, we want to use Seam, evade, and we want to use penetrate. So it's actually 3 out of the 4, which really 4 out of the 4. So that's why it's such an important technique. So we're in a situation here, and the great thing about any of these techniques is since they're so different from the traditional chambered, Shaolin type styles where we're chambering one hand back and coming in. We learn to generate power from the turning of the waist, and we keep a high space. So it makes you almost like a quick draw, like an Yola West. So if someone adopts a traditional fighting stance and is coming fighting against me, and I'm like, hey, I really want to fight. The advantage here is I don't have to raise my hands up or bring my hands in to be able to generate power and use a lot of. Let me show you what the technique looks like by itself. If we use it with beam, which it's often accompanied with, we want to turn our waist one way, and we want to turn this punch out. So all it looks like we're doing when people first see it, looks like a very level fist, like in Japanese styles you call a reverse punch, or in Chinese styles you call ping choi, or level fist. The idea though is that most of the power is going to come from here, the last second. But what we're discounting here is my ability to turn my waist and kind of add it all together. So what I want to do is in here. So again, the neat thing about it is the person can be, I don't need to draw my hands up. I can almost have them in an unassuming position where someone might be able to think that I'm not going to fight them or something. So I can be here, and a person comes in, in a fighting situation, fighting stance. So we're here, and a person with a lead hand jab, I can turn, all right? So even though the jab's coming out, I'm using Seam, I'm using the concept of evading, but at the same time, I'm getting a longer range, and I'm moving out of the direction of the punch as well. Plus, I'm going to use something here. It's going to debilitate my guy real quick. So, again, I'm in this neutral position, which is going to give me the most range possible. So, again, we're here like, I don't want to fight. This comes in. I want to shoot this in right here. Now, you say, well, we're not protecting our face or anything. Well, no, you're not. You're relying on a bit of surprise. You're relying on a longer reach, and you're relying on your follow-up, which is when it comes to the first technique, bang, from here right away, bam, cup wants to come in, hook punch wants to come in, so we want to move right away to it. So the variation I like for it is where we also use, the Jeet to intercept. So here we are, jab comes high, right, and then you pull the jab back and it comes toward the body. On the same jab, so in other words, if I'm here, I'm going like one, and I go through a body jab. So here I am, one, bang. I want to be able to come right in. So if this punch is coming towards my body, I want to be able to come right with the head, obviously, not with the body. So this punch is coming in. My concept is I want to turn the arm out, which is where the torquing, the corkscrew motion is. My waist here is going to turn, and that's going to help bring the arm out, and at the same time I want to drill and channel that, bang, in this position. In the same way that we use it, if you have a fist here, we take the same concept from here. When we usually go high, we apply it to view, which is a little more advanced technique in Lama style, where we strike with one finger, usually in towards the throat or in towards the eyes. But from here, we do the same thing, where we don't want to, those of you know about Lama already, we don't have traditional blocking. We don't block, or we don't block and then come in to hit. We try to make all our strikes become blocks themselves. So that punch is here, bang, that wants to come right out and strike at the same time. But so I like the straight line variations where we cut under the bridge, or cut through into the bridge, or cut into here. But you have that other variation you'll do where it's more of a lifting one. I remember my teacher would do that a lot. Our teacher would do that a lot. Yeah. So I think that one's even more unassuming, because it'd be like, hey, I could be here, and all of a sudden, with a lift right there. So you've got that action coming, wham, and I feel it right away. Coming into the ribs, I feel even more than just the front knuckle. Like all the knuckles seem to kind of lift up. So here I am, like coming into hit, all of a sudden, bang. So you're obviously moving out of the, you turn your body, so even without the other hand, just you turning the body, what it does, it moves me out of the way. I got the grab here, and that chin choy comes in. So I think those are great variations.
I think what's so cool about the Lama, for lack of a better term, it really emphasizes this whole notion of corkscrewing and connecting up from the ground. You know, if you're doing kind of whatever, sometimes it's, even though they talk about, you know, using the whole body, it's sometimes kind of easy, I think, to forget about how to connect, whereas for the Lama, it's really get that, you know.
Yeah, but the other connection is always like this sturdy stance and bang and right, popping your hips and turning. Where in Lama, it's such a...
it's a lot of fluidity, a lot of mobility kind of built into it from the beginning, and again, generating that kinetic chain power up from the floor and really, you know, getting in whatever technique or cups.
Yeah, you know what it is? I think it's more too like other styles try and go bang and align the hips
right
with their opponent, where we're trying to go past that point. So we're not trying to align our hip with our opponent, we're trying to turn out. That's why you don't see as much, unless we're charging forward, you don't see as much of a bow stance to the front. We use a side stance. So even when we'll talk about cup choy next, but with a lot of techniques that other styles seem to do in a straight stance, we are always more turned to the side for obviously the reasons we mentioned before. So that was pretty neat.